inside historic Cameron Indoor Stadium, moments away from Duke versus number 3 Louisville. Cardinals looking to get off to a 14-0 start this season. Take a look at our impact players for this afternoon. Alongside Debbie Taylor, I'm Ryan Craig. And Debbie, perhaps nobody having more of an impact for their team than Asia Durr this year.
Well, Asia Durr is an All-American, the returning ACC Player of the Year, and what makes her so special is her ability to score in a variety of ways. She's a musician off ball screens, proficient behind the arc, and she can score off the bounce and finish with contact at the rim.
Speaking of impact, Michaela Boykin has had one since she's returned from injury, missed 361 days with an ACL tear, but she's been fantastic since she's returned.
She's playing in the 6th game of her young career, but she plays with the savviness and composure of a veteran. Duke's been struggling in the point guard position, and they're going to need Boykin to play her best game of her young career today.
There is Jeff Walz, a dozen seasons on the sidelines with Louisville. It's the only head coaching job he's had, over 300 wins already. And Debbie, all of the best seasons really in program history have occurred under his watch. On the other side, again, a dozen seasons, another 300 wins, this time for Joanne P. McCauley with the Blue Devils. Number of Elite Eights on the resume. National Coach of the Year in 2005. Two excellent coaches, two excellent programs, and the opening tip won by the Cardinals. Erica Carter and now Jasmine Jones. There you see the starting 5 for Louisville. Down low it goes, Sam Fuehring. And Fuehring connects on the first bucket.
Well, in Louisville, last year's regular season and ACC tournament champion, Final Four participant, and only graduating Maisha Hines-Allen, who was an WNBA draft pick, but great player. But they are experienced, they have depth, and they can score in every position on the floor.
Boykin bothered by Carter that time, who was defending her. Blue Devils, though, able to come up with the offensive rebound. However, just 5 seconds on the shot clock. Gorecki trying to create against her. Step back 3 off the rim, and Fuehring grabs the rebound.
Louisville number 7 in the NCAA in scoring offense, averaging over 84 points a game. They love the transition game, as does Duke. I think this is going to be a track meet today, Ryan, as we see the 3 from the perimeter from Erica Carter, picking up where she left off for UNC the other night.
And Louisville 2 for 2 from the field. Not a great sign if you're Duke. Cardinals struggled a bit shooting against the Tar Heels, Asia Durr in particular. Fuehring and Carter have both connected on their first attempts. 5-0 to the Cardinals here in the early going. Jade Williams down low against Fuehring, draws the double team. And Odom. And that shot is good, and you want to talk about a good sign for the Blue Devils. Yana Odom only a dozen points in her last 3 games, but 2 early points here. Hopefully she can get going.
Good to see her get out of the gate. We both know what a great player she is, such an athlete. She elevates on that jump shot. And again, the Cardinals from the perimeter.
5th in the ACC in three-point shooting percentages. Carter at just over 46%. Probably the best three-point shooter on the team. 2 for her first 2 in the early going, as Jones tracks down the rebound.
And that's what's going to be tough for the Blue Devils tonight. There's 5 scorers on the floor. There's great presence in the paint. There's great scoring from the perimeter. Louisville can beat you from behind the arc, on the block, or off the dribble.
You can see Carter there, too, drawing the double team, as it looked like she was going to spot up for another 3. Instead found Bianca Dunham down low, who was fouled. Williams assessed the personal.
Well, and while this Duke team is young, they've been very solid defensively. Duke plays a multiple defensive system. It's not easy to learn, but Coach P telling us yesterday that this team has picked it up really well. And another 3 from the perimeter. Erica Carter, again, she is on fire, and Duke calls timeout.
How about the start for Erica Carter? 3 for 3 from 3. Louisville 11, Blue Devils 2 here, 7:31 to go in the first quarter. Outrageous start for the redshirt senior. Coach P wants timeout. Blue Devils will discuss it, looking to make the comeback here in Cameron. Back inside Cameron Indoor Stadium, the Louisville Cardinals leading by 9. Just under 2.5 minutes. Erica Carter already 3 threes this game. The Cardinals only had 5 against North Carolina as a team. A hot shooting start for Louisville thus far.
So many weapons, and Erica Carter, the redshirt senior, had a groin injury her junior year, sat out. She's graduated. She's working on her second degree right now, but she had 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists in their most recent game against UNC. She can score in a lot of ways, and right now Duke's going to have to get out and get a hand in her face and not give her an open look like that.
27 threes now on the season, second on the team behind Asia Durr, who's got 34. Yana Odom out of the timeout, steps on the sidelines, and so a turnover will hand it back to Louisville.
And here's Louisville showing you their multiple defenses coming out with some three-quarter court pressure, and Louisville doing a great job in the last couple games, forcing 20-plus turnovers.
Here's Jones looking for Carter. Haven't really called Asia Durr's name thus far, but it's worked out just fine for the Cardinals to this point. Fearing is met by Faith Suggs, and then reaching in and grabbing the steal is Michaela Boykin. Haley Gorecki out and running, looking for Liana Odom, but instead the pass finds the Louisville bench.
There's Michaela Boykin. She's going to have such a great career in this Duke uniform. We know we've seen her uncanny floor vision. We've seen her scoring, but she's also really solid on the defensive end under the floor. Great anticipation skills. Be interesting to see how Duke chooses to defend Louisville with the variety of scores they have right now, staying in the zone. Good ball movement, and there's the sweet spot of the zone right into the high post, and an easy miss. Duke ball.
Dunham grabbed it, but hadn't reestablished position inbounds, and so the ball belongs to Duke.
And Bianca Dunham is giving Louisville a big boost. She started 11 of the last games, got her first start against Boise State, and has really improved her game and given them some physical play, some scoring in the post.
Boykin trapped by a pair of Louisville defenders, and then another turnover for the Blue Devils. Back the other way comes Louisville. Durr looking for Erica Carter. Her 4th three here in the first quarter.
When you get your 4th, you've got to start to realize, if you're Duke, that you've got to get out there. Even if she puts the ball on the floor, make her put the ball on the floor. That's the 4th wide open shot she's gotten. You've got to close out, get closer, make it more difficult.
Averaging more than a 3 a minute here this afternoon is Erica Carter. 4 for 4 from long distance.
And Asia Durr with back-to-back assists, and I think that's a big part of Asia Durr's game. She's improved this year. She's number 2 in the ACC currently in assist-to-turnover ratio, and she's really worked on her decision-making, and she's the one finding the open player.
It's a great point. Didn't shoot the ball well at all against North Carolina, but we talked to Coach Walls, and it's the best players find ways to have an impact on a game, even when maybe you're known as a scorer and you're not scoring the ball. She had half a dozen assists in that one. Hasn't even taken a shot yet today, but 2 assists on threes. That's 6 points for your team, whether you're scoring them or somebody else is.
Well, and that just shows the versatility of this team. Against UNC, they had 5 players in double figures, and there's Durr with that left-handed shot. Erica Carter with the weak side rebound.
Carter was underneath the basket. Looked like her shoe came off. Tosses it to the sideline. Fearing down low. Williams defending. Erica Carter trots back down on defense with only one shoe on.
On that Fearing-Dunham post tandem can give teams a lot of problems.
Carter slipping and sliding all over the place, trying to defend Hila Goodchild, who missed on the 3. That's somewhat of a rarity. Williams fights for the rebound. It'll belong to Duke.
Great job by Faith Suggs, and Duke's going to have to win the hustle plays. They're going to have to come up with the loose balls, pull offensive boards, give themselves second chance opportunities. Great hustles by the Blue Devils. We see loose ball, scramble, kicking it out, the extra pass, the look inside.
Carter losing her shoe on the play. I thought for a second maybe she pulled up with an injury, but it was just that the shoe was hanging off the foot. Williams looking to post up Durr down low. Certainly has the size advantage there. Couldn't connect on the baby hook, and it belongs to the Cardinals.
Great position by the senior Sam Fearing. He's continuing to have a stellar season. First on the team in rebounding, second in scoring, averaging over 11 a game. It takes a lot of pressure off the perimeter when you have post players who are proficient on the block. And not only does Louisville have 2, they have 3. And we've yet to see Kylie Shook, and she's having a great season as well.
Cardinals leading by 10. The officials are going to take a look at that last play. It's a hot start, certainly, for Louisville. 5 of 8 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. Don't know whether they're going to take a look at who this might have been off of, or if they're trying to see. Looked like it was off the hand of Furing, perhaps. But 70 seems to be the magic number we're going to look for today. We talked to Coach Joanne P. McCauley. She said, look, we feel like if we can hold teams under 70, we've got a pretty good shot. The stats say that if Louisville gets to 70, they're in pretty good shape. They're 215-20 when they score 70+. They've won their last 41. So that number feels like one we need to keep in mind today as the replay continues here.
Well, and it looks like the ball, looks like from where we're sitting, our vantage point, that it's going off Furing's hand, but we'll see what the officials come up with. But you're right, Ryan, and Louisville, as we said, averages over 84 points a game. Duke is going to have to put points on the board to be successful in this game.
Yeah, this is really a contrast in styles, a contrast in experience. Blue Devils proficient defensively. At times, where do the points come from, right? You and I have discussed that. We even talked about it a little bit before the broadcast started today. There are flashes from a number of different players, and this is a team that Coach P thinks has the potential to have 5 double-digit scorers. It's just the consistency that comes with youth.
Exactly, and youth breeds inconsistency. And we watch these players every time they step on the floor. Duke becomes a better team, and the addition of Michaela Boynton certainly has made them a better team. So they continue to progress, but unfortunately for Duke, they've had to start ACC play with 2 top 10 undefeated teams. I mean, when does that ever happen?
Not often. In fact, the last time Duke played consecutive top 10 teams to start the ACC was back in the early 90s. You add the undefeated part on top of that. Tough task for a very youthful team. Odom is called for the foul as she tried to chase down the loose ball. That's a personal foul you probably don't mind out of aggression there.
Like Odom's effort in this game, and that was a nice pass by Boynton, and the Duke players are starting to learn about the passes that Michaela Boynton throws. She's got such floor vision. Sometimes they're not ready for them. She sees everybody. Great transition by the Blue Devils, just unable to convert on that play. Continuing to stay in the matchup zone, and there's the heart of the defense. Nice look inside, and there's Sam Furing with the nice 5-foot knockdown shot. That's the sweet spot in the zone. The ACC, the baseline. Louisville right now moving the ball very well and getting the shots they want. Cardinals by a dozen here in the early going. Duke just 1 of 7 from the field so far. Child, a 3. That one is no good. Child shooting just over 48% from 3 on the season, 3rd in the ACC, 2nd in the country for freshmen. But she's missed her first couple here this afternoon. She's really starting to acclimate to American basketball. It's a little more physical than playing in Australia, and she was Rookie of the Week last week, and just shooting so well from behind the arc, reminiscent of Rebecca Greenwell, Tricia Liston. She's going to be a great player for Duke. And Bodie James comes down with the rebound. Yeah, you mentioned Rebecca Greenwell. Greenwell, the team record for made threes for a freshman with 72. Good Child on pace to challenge that mark this season. Only 1 3 away from top 10 in that category, with 28 thus far this season. Well, that was a nice transition on that last play, and I love that attack by Odom. Little hesitation dribble, got to the rim, unable to convert, but that's what we need to see. She needs to get shots up today. We'd love to see her take at least 15 shots. And that's the number that Coach P mentioned. Got to be 10 to 15 shots a game for Liana Odom. If this team is going to have success, she's got to be a regular 15 to 20-point scorer. Well, and right now, Louisville taking a lot of shots from the perimeter, and granted Carter knocking down some early, but Louisville in this game seems to have the height advantage, more post players, more experience in the post, and surprising not to see them really banging the ball inside. 3-on-2 the other way after the turnover. Quick hands from Haley Gorecki, though. That forces it off of Jasmine Jones. Crowd appreciates that effort defensively. Great job getting back on defense by the Blue Devils. Job by Gorecki to knock it off the leg and get possession back. Transition defense so important in this game for both teams, because both these teams love to get out and go. You see Odom running point for the Blue Devils, finding Gorecki down low, who draws the foul. That's the type of versatility that Liana Odom has. Can absolutely fill up the stat sheet, and has had a good look about her here this afternoon. Great decision on the overplay. Louisville, a team that likes to get up in the passing lanes, deny. Nice back cut by Gorecki.
And so Gorecki hits the first free throw, shooting 73% on the season coming into this afternoon's game. Now 56 for 76 on the year.
Duke with a little 2-2-1 pressure of their own, really designed just to eat time off the shot clock. Louisville give them less time in their half-court set. Right now, 19-18. Great job by the Blue Devils. Now they go back into their zone.
Dana Evans on the floor. And a foul is called.
There's the look inside we were talking about. A nice dive cut by Furing. She's so powerful down there. Good decision maker. She's really progressed during her 4 years at Louisville under Coach Wall's tutelage, having a great senior season.
Evans will take it out of bounds. She's led the team in assists 5 different times this year and is 5th in the conference in assists with just over 4 a game, and that's coming off the bench. This is a team that doesn't necessarily play a ton of people, but they get great production off the bench.
You know, and Dana Evans, for all intents and purposes, could be a starter, so she's a spark plug that comes out. Nice defense right there, and you see what a great on-ball defender she is. And Kylie Shook now in the game in the post for Louisville.
There is Shook. Double-double in 2 of her last 3 games.
And the freshman shooter, Lindsay Duval. She's 40% from behind the three-point line.
Furing wearing that ACC logo that you always talk about. Couldn't hit the jump shot. 16-6 the score as Odom comes the other way. Good child from the corner. Still looking for her first 3 of the afternoon. Looks like Jada Adams is going to be called for the foul as she fought for the rebound.
One good one more pass to get Mila Goodchild that wide open look at the 3, and you know she hasn't hit one yet, but she's going to keep shooting and shoot her way out of it. You know, the jump for ACC play for freshmen is a big one, and she played well the other night against NC State, but this is a top 3 team. Probably a little nerves right now.
Asia Durr connects on the first free throw, her first point of the afternoon. Now 53 of 61 on the year. Just about 87% from the free throw line.
Louisville shoots the ball from the free throw line so well. You want to limit the number of times you put them on the charity stripe because they're so good at it.
76% as a team this year. As we take a look at the double-digit scorers from Louisville's game against North Carolina. I mentioned Dana Evans and her ability to score off the bench and all of the different options Coach Walls has at his disposal.
Well, on a night when Asia Durr went 0 for 7 from behind the arc, she got in foul trouble. And Louisville had a 19-point lead at one point in the Carolina game, and they let that go down to 2 on several occasions. But everybody able to score. Nice execution on the inbounds. Boykin finding a wide open Odom.
Odom with 6 of Duke's 8 here in the early going. After a red-hot start, the Cardinals have cooled off significantly, shooting percentage down below 38% at this point.
And they've had good looks at the basket, just haven't been able to convert.
Evans spots up for 3. That one's off the mark. Odom comes up with the rebound, her 3rd.
Odom having a great first quarter for this team. You know, the Duke coaching staff is so happy to see that. Duke's going to need a big game out of her today. She's great on the boards. She's a very proficient scorer. And Boykin one-on-one to the rim.
I think Boykin may have stepped on a foot as Jade Williams checks back in. Very reminiscent of the NC State game. A tough start for the Blue Devils, down 8-0 in that game. Coach P was very happy with the way they responded, led by their defense. And the Blue Devils no doubt took a punch from Louisville here in the opening couple of minutes, have steadied the ship a bit. Deficit still 10, but they've at least stopped that initial onslaught by Erica Carter and co.
Yeah, it was a great timeout by the coaching staff, and this has happened to Duke a couple times this season, so they're prepared, and there's the center again, but Sam Furing, who's typically very solid from the free throw line, has just been unable to hit that shot.
She's being asked to score more this year. 18 points, 9 rebounds, and the game-winning layup with under 3 seconds left against Arizona State. Double figures in terms of points in 8 of her last 10 games, and you can see a featured part of the offense here today against that Duke zone. Gorecki, step back three. That one is good. First three for the Blue Devils this afternoon. Pulls Duke back within 7. Final seconds of the first quarter. Haley Gorecki draws the Blue Devils even closer. Quick start for the Cardinals. Blue Devils doing everything they could to maintain a grapple on this start here.
Well, if you're the Duke coaching staff, you're really happy with how your team responded after your timeout. And Haley Gorecki, just what Duke needed going into the break. The step back three, draining it, cutting this to a 7-point game. We've got a good one here, folks. Come on back.
Seconds away from the start of the second quarter here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Hometown Blue Devils trailing by 7, and one of the reasons why, turnovers. Duke has half a dozen compared to just 1 for Louisville. Going to have to try to get that under control a bit if they're going to continue to make this comeback.
Well, like we said, a young team, first quarter against the number 3 team in the country. Probably some jitters, making some mistakes. Got to get a hold of that. But right now, Duke up +6 on the board, which is a good sign for this Duke coaching staff. 5 of those boards offensive, but shooting 20% from the floor.
Just 3 of 15 from the field. As always, these things have two sides, right? If you're Duke, you're looking at that and going, well, it's a bit of a long day thus far, but we're only down 7 despite being 3 of 15 from the field, -5 in the turnover column. Worth mentioning again, 2 top 10 teams to start ACC play. First time that's happened to the Blue Devils. First time they've had that kind of draw since the 90-91 season when they played top-ranked Virginia and number 3 NC State to start conference play. And Leanna Odom, points number 7 and 8 for her in the afternoon.
And that's what you want to see. And over a much taller defender, she's unstoppable with a 10-foot pull-up jump chop. She just elevates so high, keeps the ball high, and that is good news for the Duke Blue Devils.
Duke back within 5.
You know, and the last time these two teams met, Odom had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 5 steals. So she shows up when it's time to play Louisville. Nice defense by Jade Williams, and Duke off to the races.
Boykin looking for Williams. Fearing got a hand on it. Fearing and Carter, the only players for Louisville to make a shot today. Gorecki and Odom, the only 2 to make a shot for the Blue Devils. As Fearing will take a seat on the bench. Boykin and Gorecki couldn't connect on the baseline out of bounds play. Turnover number 7 for the Blue Devils.
Well, and Dana Evans right now is doing a great job on Michaela Boykin. She can just see she's out of rhythm. The pressure's bothering her. She just needs to settle in, make better decisions.
They're looking for Shook, and the finish inside for Kylie Shook.
Well, like we said, Ryan, Durr not scoring, but she is finding the open player. So versatile.
Kayla Boykin into the paint. Lefty finish high off the glass.
And that's what Duke needs from Michaela Boykin. I think she's passed up a couple drives to the basket looking for a post player, but she's strong and powerful enough to finish at the rim. Great take.
Boykin can fill it up, scored 60-plus on a couple of occasions in high school.
Averaged 34 points a game as a senior. Another great pass by Durr.
Finish impressive as well for Jasmine Jones. Asia Durr has been more of a facilitator here this afternoon than a scorer. Hasn't connected on either of her field goal attempts, just has a couple of free throws, but 3 assists and a rebound.
Well, it just shows you what an unselfish player she is to be the caliber. I mean, she's one of the front runners for National Player of the Year. So unselfish, so smart, giving her team what they need.
Williams has that one poked away by Evans. As Goodchild and Suggs check back in for the Blue Devils. Odom and Adams have a seat. Great start for Leanna Odom, 3 of 4 from the field, 5 rebounds here in just more than a quarter of play.
She's capable of putting up 25 and 10 every night. Great start for Odom.
4 on the shot clock. Gorecki looking for Williams. Back the other way comes Louisville in transition. Jones looking to take on Goodchild, and one!
Jasmine Jones, a 6-foot junior, so powerful, going coast to coast. And when Asia Durr wasn't having a great shooting night against UNC, first ACC game, what does Jasmine Jones do? She puts up 17 points and leads her team.
It's the first time that she led the team in points this year, showing up just when her team needed it. Coach Wallace said, look, she loves to get out in transition, score in transition. Did just that on that occasion, and then finishes off the three-point play.
And here comes the full court pressure again.
Jones has started the last 52 games for the Cardinals.
Cardinals just play that tough man-to-man, great ball pressure in the passing lanes.
Lead back up to double digits for Louisville. Gorecki looking to take on a couple of defenders, but Carter got her hands in there.
Nice show by Kylie Shook on that ball screen, gave Durr time to recover. Asia Durr looking again, but unable to convert. But Shook, weak side rebound.
Nice job on the offensive glass, fighting off a pair of Blue Devils. Faith Suggs, though, with two hands that time. And that's Boykin back the other way.
That's what Faith Suggs does, and that's why she's in this game. She does the little things. She gets the hustle plays. She pulls the board. She plays great defense, tough as nails.
And one of very few players for Duke that has a bit of experience. Even somebody like Haley Gorecki, in terms of eligibility, sure, but with all the injuries she's contended with in her career, even those that have sophomore, junior, senior next to their name just haven't had a ton of game experience. Quick hands, though, by Gorecki that time, and then 1-on-2 draws the foul, and we'll head to the free throw line.
Well, we do know that Gorecki is an intense competitor, and we've talked about it, Ryan. You know, last year, Gorecki as a sophomore, there was Lexi Brown and Rebecca Greenwell, two of the better players in the country. As we see Gorecki here, pick Asia Durr's pocket and take it to the other end and go hard to the basket and draw the foul. So last year, Gorecki was drawing the third best defender on the team. This year, she's getting the best of every single team, and she's learning to make that adjustment.
First Blue Devil point in just over 2 minutes. Gorecki misses on the second. Another 4 turnovers here in less than 4 minutes to start the second quarter. Wide open Dana Evans three. That one is good. 5th three of the afternoon for Louisville.
Wow, great recognition, but that's the back line of the zone, not getting out on that. Gorecki sometimes forcing it a little bit. Jade Williams with the hustle. Duke maintains possession.
Odom checks back in for Gorecki. Haley Gorecki perhaps getting a bit ahead of herself there. Had her defender beat, but her feet just couldn't quite catch up with her mind on that one. Good child, corner three. Still looking for her first three of the afternoon. 0 for 4 is the freshman thus far.
Well, with Gorecki, sometimes it's the old John Wooden, be quick but don't hurry, and it's understanding tempo but knowing when to slow down. Good pressure by Faith Suggs. Nice drop down by Odom there for the steal.
Odom having an impact on both ends of the floor. Best she has looked really in the last 4 games or so. Has struggled a bit in the last 3. Looked like she was hit in the head there. No foul. Boykin on the drive. Past her. Lefty layup is good, and she'll shoot a free throw.
And Odom with some celebration, some emotion. And Odom right now with the height advantage. Duke trying to go down low with the mismatch, throws it in, comes back out to Boykin, and she powers to the rim. She's so strong. They were saying the other day she can bench press 160 pounds, do over 100 push-ups, and right there the freshman going strong to the rim with the finish.
Second foul on Asia Durr. Both Durr and Jasmine Jones with a pair for Louisville. They're the only 2 players that have a personal foul for Coach Walls, but each of them has 2. Nobody for the Blue Devils with 2. Boykin finishes off the three-point play. So no Jasmine Jones, no Asia Durr on the floor for the Cardinals right now. Casa Robinson is on. Carter, the three-pointer, another one, 5 for 6. Erica Carter, 15 points here in the first half.
Wow, and you're playing a great team. You have enough things to worry about when a player like Erica Carter can come out and shoot the 3 ball that way. And that's another turnover by Duke off Boykin's knee, but I like that she's attacking the basket. Duke needs that from her.
31-19 to score. 4:51 to go in the second. Erica Carter on absolute fire here in Cameron.
Erica Carter, 5 for 6 in the perimeter. Louisville getting it done from everywhere, giving them the 12-point lead.
Back at Cameron Indoor Stadium, Zion Williamson, a couple of members of the men's basketball team, watching the Duke women's basketball team here against Louisville, and this was about 12 hours ago, maybe a few more than that. 360 dunk. He gave himself about a 7 or 8 on that one, looking like Debbie Taylor from her basketball days.
He did. He called it poetry in motion after the game. I mean, he's such a humble, nice, great young man, but that was just brought the Duke fans to their feet. I think brought the nation to their feet. We saw that replay over and over again last night on SportsCenter.
He's good for 2 or 3 plays a game that no one else in the country can make, and maybe nobody else in the world.
Oh, and then when he followed it up with a monster block on the other end, and 20 points to finish the game, Duke's win over Clemson.
The Duke pulled away in the second half for a win over the Tigers to open their ACC season. Louisville looking to make it 2-0 in the ACC. Shook on the follow. Erica Carter, by the way, has already set a career high for threes in a game with her 5th, with 4.5 to go in the second quarter.
Well, and she had 24 coming into this game and 5 in this game. We see Louisville come out of the timeout and go right into the post. Feed Kylie Shook. She misses but follows it and finish it. 3 seconds down there. Another turnover by the Blue Devils.
There's Coach Walls. A 33-19 advantage for his team. There you see the turnover count. Hard enough to play the number 3 team in the country, but even more difficult when you lose the turnover battle by that significant a margin. You'd mentioned Debbie Duke was trying to make up for it with their work on the glass and in the paint, but -9 in that statistic is awfully tough.
Well, it's going to be tough to win if they continue to turn the ball over like this. And Louisville, in opposition, does such a great job taking care of the ball. Only 3 turnovers. They've been stellar on this season. You know, they've had several games with less than 5 turnovers.
Jade Williams picks up her second foul, so she will sit on the bench. Furing. Another steal by Liana Odom.
You see Odom getting it done on both sides of the ball. Obviously a great scorer, and here she goes to the rim. I'd like to see her just take that up.
Odom 8 points, 5 rebounds, a pair of steals here in the first half. Gorecki with 6, Boykin 5. Erica Carter has 15 all on her own. It's 19-15 Duke just against Erica Carter.
Well,
Gearing kicks it out to Evans for 3. That one's off the mark.
Louisville choosing to go 4 out, 1 in, and they're moving the ball well. Good inside out looks as Odom goes in transition. There's Gorecki.
Gorecki hesitated a bit on the shot, eventually took it but missed. Carter out in transition. Counting down toward 3 minutes to go in the first half. A 14-point lead for the Cardinals, who are looking to go 14-0 in the 2018-19 campaign.
Good screening action on the zone.
Here is Carter with 3 seconds on the shot clock. Another turnover. This time it's for Louisville. Gorecki finding Odom. Liana Odom into double figures.
Beautiful transition pass by Gorecki and Odom. You can just see how high up she gets, and she's really got to hop on her step today. Love the way she's playing right now.
Mentioned had 12 in the last 3 games combined. She's got 10 here in the first half this afternoon. Completely different look for her. Shook down low. It's a tough matchup for Faith Suggs, giving away a number of inches in height disadvantage.
That's good recognition by Louisville, seeing the height advantage in the back of the zone and finding that pass. And here's Gorecki in transition off the steal. The no look to Odom. She skies up almost at the rim, puts it off the glass and finishes it.
Shook listed at 6'4", Suggs at 6'1". Looks like the height advantage even more than the 3 inches it says on paper. First free throw is good, as is the second. Good-looking stroke for Shook, who is now 14 of 17 from the free throw line this year.
Well, with close to 2 minutes remaining in the half, you want to see Duke right here settle in and get a good possession. Solid execution. So you see a clear out for Odom, calling her own number, drawing the foul, and that's what you want to see if you're Duke.
There just isn't anybody for Louisville that can guard Odom one-on-one. Frankly, I don't know if there are a lot of players in the country that can guard her one-on-one when she's being aggressive.
She's such a tough matchup because she's so long, and she just elevates and releases her shot at the top. So you watch how she can just elevate, and she draws the foul.
It's not a bad job defending by Carter, making her turn that back around. But then the ability to elevate on the jump shot, gets fouled in the process.
She's stepping up big in a big game. She knows her team needs her. Like to see her taking the number of shots she has and proficient at the free throw line. Now Duke extending the defense. Odom at the top of the press.
4 for 4 from the free throw line for Leanna Odom. Louisville by a dozen here with $1:50 to go. Kick out is to Carter. In and out. Shook had 2 hands on it, but Odom comes away with it. The hit-ahead pass is too far for Adams. Number advantage for the Cardinals if they hurry. Evans looking down low. Nearly turned over. Odom running through a pair of players. Then Duke comes up with the ball.
Great interior defense by the Blue Devils right now. And again, a possession where let's settle down, execute, get a good look at the basket.
Well, Odom didn't come up with the ball, but she was the one that forced the turnover with that diving play. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Suggs for 3. Akinbodi James, the offensive rebound. Down to the floor is Robinson, and now a tie-up is called.
Well, and Akinbodi James, the freshman from Nigeria, she's only played 4 years of basketball, and she continues to progress. But on that, great rebounder, but you want to see her not put it on the floor, just get it and go straight back up with it.
It'll belong to Louisville on the jump ball with 0.3 of a second less than 1 minute to play in the first half. Mentioned 70 is that magic number. Louisville at 35 right now as we head toward halftime. An offensive foul is called off the ball.
And that's Faith Suggs working, the shorter defender working against the 6'3 senior Sam Furyk, moving her feet, getting around. And I think Furyk called for throwing the elbow or hooking.
Boy, when you're at a size disadvantage, you've got to do your work before the ball gets there. Once Furyk gets the ball, there's not a whole lot you're going to be able to do. And Suggs did a nice job that time.
Great job denying the entry pass. Great pressure right here by Louisville. Got to get it across. Good job by Suggs. Plenty of time on the shot clock.
Kick ball from Robinson. Shot clock at 16. Gorecki, good child, wide open in the corner. That one's off the mark. Offensive rebound for Suggs. Gorecki, top of the key, 3, no good, but a foul down low. Once again, Faith Suggs putting in the effort. Fouled by Robinson, who pushed her off. 18.5 to play in the first half, and Suggs will step to the free throw line.
Oh, the Duke coaching staff has to be pleased with that possession. Great execution to get Mila Goodchild the one more pass, the wide open 3 in the corner, and then Faith Suggs going after the rebound, pulling it down, kicking it out to Gorecki, and then getting the foul. Great possession by Duke.
Will actually be baseline out of bounds for the Blue Devils.
Duke probably right now not wanting to give Louisville the ball back, taking their time, use this clock, get one good shot. Boynton calling down, looking to go one-on-one to the rim.
That one's off the mark.
Jada Adams
got a hand on it. 4 seconds left for Louisville to try to get something off. Under a second to play. Evans off the side of the backboard. And Louisville will take a 35-23 lead into halftime.
Some great effort on the defensive end by the Blue Devils down the stretch, and then also on the offensive end, finishing that half on a high note.
Nation's number 3, Louisville Cardinals up 12 against Duke. As we take a look at the highlights from the first half alongside Debbie Taylor, I'm Ryan Craig. And Debbie, 12 points in the last 3 games for Liana Odom. She had 14 against the Cardinals last year already with a dozen here today.
Nice to see Nae Odom come out and play so hard. Not only is she scoring, she's defending, she's rebounding, and she's playing with a lot of fire and energy today.
Unfortunately for the Blue Devils, 15 turnovers in the first half. They had 16 the whole game against NC State, and it's led to some open threes, particularly for Erica Carter.
You can't beat a team like Louisville when you turn the ball over 15 times, and Duke is going to have to remedy that in the second half. But Erica Carter's been the story in this game. 5 for 7 from behind the arc. Louisville's 2 leading scorers, Furing and Durr, combining for only 6 points.
Yeah, for those that missed it, you mentioned the 5 threes. That's already a career high for a single game for her, and of course an entire half still to play.
Louisville staying in the man-to-man defense, staying inside the three-point line. Ball screening action, Furing trying to come out and hedge on that, and gets called for the block.
Second foul of the afternoon on Furing. As you take a look at some of the stats from the first half, 11% Duke shooting from 3, just 1 of 9 compared to 6 of 13 for Louisville. That's plus 15 in terms of points from distance. Liana Odom finishing the alley-oop. Now 5 of 6 from the field. She's got 14 to go along with 7 rebounds.
Great execution, picking up where she left off in the first half. And Ryan, another big stat, Duke's plus 8 on the boards for the first half. But it's the 12 points off of turnovers that Louisville has scored, which is the difference in this game.
Catching air with the 3 is Asia Durr. 0 for 4 from 3 here today, 0 for 7 against North Carolina. So she is in a bit of a cold spell from long distance. Here's Gorecki now. Half a dozen in the first half for her. Gorecki down the lane. Durr comes up with the rebound. Heads back the other way in transition. Boykin is there waiting for it. Decides to stop and pop for the jump shot.
Wow, and that's where Durr is so good. She has a great mid-range game, a beautiful pull-up jump shot, great body control.
Coach Walls mentioned that pull-up jump shot as one of her weapons. She has so many, but that was one that he called out in particular. Saw evidence of it right there. Gorecki, the fall-away jumper is no good. And Dunham grabs the rebound.
Gorecki, Duke's leading scorer right now with 6 points. Getting her shots up, just struggling to convert.
Averaging just under 17 on the season is Gorecki.
Duke's matchup zone has given Louisville some problems. It's a zone that really negates athleticism, as you see Durr come off the down screen, passes right back, and a block by Duke, and here comes Gorecki.
Williams and Odom combining to make life difficult for Furing. Gorecki finding Williams, who's fouled by Carter, and will shoot a pair of free throws.
Good defense by the Devils, nice transition, a beautiful pass by Gorecki, and Jade Williams will get a chance to make 2 from the line.
Williams hasn't scored yet this afternoon. Has played some solid interior defense, though, against Furing, who's just 2 of 7 from the field.
She has good presence down low, altering shots, not really giving Furing good looks at the basket.
It's the shooter's roll on that first free throw. Williams setting career highs in points and rebounds against Florida Gulf Coast 2 games ago for the Blue Devils, 17 and 11 respectively. Duke back within 10. Furing passes out of the double team. Jones all the way across to Carter. A good closeout from Suggs. 6 to go on the shot clock. Down low it goes to Dunham. Odom steps in the way and then is fouled as Furing picks up 2 quick ones here in the third quarter. She's the first player with 3 for either team.
Blue Devils start the second half with some great defensive possession. You see Odom dropping down on the weak side right there to pick up the pass, force the Louisville turnover, and uncharacteristically for Louisville right now, they're racking up the turnovers. After having averaged so few, 19 total for the last 3 games.
That's 3 steals now to go along with a block on the defensive end for Liana Odom. Already talked about her offensive exploits here this afternoon. the kind of game that Duke expects and needs from one of its best players. Williams down to the floor. Was it deflected before it went out of bounds? Referee says no, and so it will belong to Louisville.
Coach P and the staff arguing that was incorrect, but Boynton again getting in trouble, leaving her feet, looking for the interior pass, and not able to make it happen.
Coach Joanne P. McCauley pleading with the official that it hit a fingertip.
And I think she might be right on this, and we're going to get a chance to take a look at it.
Carter. The fall-away jump shot from Jasmine Jones is no good. Here comes Odom the other way.
Right, and this is a Louisville team who shoots 50% from the floor, one of the top field goal percentages in the country, and really today struggling to convert some easy shots.
Duke has held 5 different teams this year to their season low in points. Maybe a little lucky that time as the ball ends up with Jade Williams, who finishes inside.
And there you get to see the beautiful vision of Michaela Boynton, how she can attack the rim, draw double defenders, and dish it off at the last second for the easy basket. Jade Williams again altering shots.
Good position that time from Shook, but Williams was able to stand tall and force the awkward shot. Back the other way, Gorecki. Kick out to Odom. Liana Odom, pull-up jump shot, rolls off the front of the rim, and Shook grabs the rebound.
Blue Devils have this game into double digits. The crowd is in the game. Louisville a little flustered right now.
Now Evans slicing and dicing her way into the paint.
The sophomore, cool, composed, silences the crowd. Blue Devils on a little bit of a run right there.
Third on the team in points with just over 10. Durr tries to draw the offensive foul. Evans back the other way. She can push the tempo in transition. Skips it across to Durr. Nice look inside to Shook, who's fouled. Durr won't get credit for an assist there, but a great pass forces Gorecki to apply the foul, her second of the afternoon.
I mean, just great decision-making by Durr. She catches, she sees the wide open look, and she gets it, delivers it spot on. Louisville on the free throw line. Really, Asia Durr is so unselfish, almost to a flaw at times, I think. But, you know, you see her team, she's a great scorer, but her team hasn't really needed her to score today, and she's finding other ways to contribute.
Not a bad foul there, by the way, by Gorecki. Shook misses one of the free throws. Just her second of the afternoon was an easy layup that instead becomes 1 point instead of 2. Lead back to 11, though, for Coach Walls and the Cardinals.
You see right now Michaela Boynton being denied by Dana Evans. They want to keep the ball out of her hands. They know all things run through Michaela Boynton, so Dana Evans is going to pick up full court and make it difficult for Boynton to get the ball. Evans, one of the best defenders on this team, can change the tempo of a game with her defense and ability in transition. Odom, fall-away jumper. And that one catches a lot of iron, but no nylon. Back the other way. Carter straight away 3. Williams gets a hand on it, and now Gorecki. Tough shot for Haley Gorecki, as Kylie Shook defended that one well. And not the best shot. The Blue Devils didn't need that. She's going into 6'3", too far from the rim. That was one you'd like to see her pull out and make a better decision. That one is good. Gorecki just 1 of 8 from the field. She takes almost 16 shots a game. That would be the most in school history should she maintain that average for the season. As it is, Louisville has restored the lead to 13 with just under 4.5 to go in the third quarter. Nation's number 3 trying to stay perfect on the season. Louisville 42, Duke 29. Liana Odom 3 rebounds away from her 9th career double-double, but getting it done defensively as well. Has 14 points and 7 rebounds, but the blocks and steals have helped Duke stay close in a game where Louisville's been hot from 3. Blue Devils came out of the half with a lot of energy, and most of that came from Odom. She's making things happen right now. She's in the game. She's showing emotion. She's playing hard, and she's going to continue to have to do that down the stretch for them to be successful today.
It's just been tough sledding for Duke offensively. 40% from the field, 29% from the field against NC State, 27% from three. Those numbers actually even lower here this afternoon. 27% from the field, 1 for 9 from the three-point line. There's only so much good defense you can play. Eventually, somebody's got to put the ball in the basket.
Oh, it's true. And Coach P told us yesterday they need scoring from 5 players, and they're not getting that right now. Good pass to the middle on the press. Jade Williams. And Coach P choosing to let Haley Gorecki have a seat. Let her rest for a little bit, think about it. Not playing her best basketball. Nice rebound by Williams. And she draws the foul, and that's the extra effort that we've been seeing from Duke.
Second foul of the afternoon for Shook. Jade Williams hitting the offensive glass. Blue Devils 11 offensive rebounds on the afternoon. We'll be back in just a moment. Jade Williams on the free throw line when we return. Schools all on one network. A new place to call home. The ACC network coming just about 8 months from now. Late August of this year. Well over 1,000 events covered annually. First football game, Georgia Tech versus Clemson. Tigers making what seems like their annual appearance in the national championship game at this point, or at least the college football playoff. Duke and Notre Dame will be featured in mid-November. That football game also on the ACC network. Jade Williams steps to the free throw line. 2 for 2 thus far today, but missing on the first.
Ryan, we were saying during the break how impressive Asia Durr is. I mean, right now, she has 4 points. She averages over 21 a game. She needs 1 more point to move into 3rd all-time. She has scored 2,027 points in her career, but she just lets the game come to her. She doesn't force anything. She's unselfish. She just as soon pass and shoot, and truly the sign of a great player.
Athletic move that time for Jasmine Jones, but couldn't get it to fall.
Louisville's just missing so many easy shots tonight, which is uncharacteristic for them, really giving the Blue Devils a chance to stay in this game. Duke needs to put points on the board, and Odom might be the way to do it.
She's got 14 thus far. Gorecki has yet to find the rhythm here this afternoon. 5 on the shot clock. Boykin into a double team. And there is Durr applying the defense and leading the break. Carter thought about stopping and taking that wing 3. Instead, she is fouled by Jada Adams. Her second personal. Nobody with 3 for Duke. Fearing with 3 for Louisville. But that's the only player for either team in any kind of foul trouble at this point. Shook. For a shot clock for the Cardinals.
And Duke staying in the matchup, and the Duke defense really getting it done. Louisville continuing to turn the ball over. Nice pass, good shot with the layup and the finish. Blue Devils keep fighting.
First 2-point field goal attempt for Goodchild here this afternoon, and she makes the layup. Blue Devils back within 10. Duke has gotten it down to single digits a couple of times, but have not closed it within 3 possessions or so. We'll see if Boykin and Williams, who had the layup and then traveled. Jade Williams decided to pull it back out instead of taking the easy layup. I just wonder if she thought maybe there was a defender closer than one actually was.
Well, I'm not a fan of throwing to the post player in transition, but Michaela Boykin put that ball spot on in her hands. All she had to do was catch and lay it in.
Opportunity lost for Duke to cut it to 8. Durr, wing 3, and that one is good. You just had a feeling that one was going to go down. A 5-point swing there potentially. And the Cardinals lead by a baker's dozen. And now the turnover Evans the other way, fouled by Odom, and just that quickly, momentum is swung back toward the third-ranked team in America.
And Dana Evans, the sophomore, works so hard on the defensive end of the floor. Just not a great pass. Here we see the extra pass to Asia Durr, knocking down the three, moving herself into third on the all-time scoring list, just passing WNBA draft pick last year, Maisha Hines-Allen. Look at that lineup. Angel McCaughtry, Shoni Schimmel, Asia Durr, and Maisha Hines-Allen. It's
not a bad quartet.
And that just shows the caliber of player that Coach Walls has been able to bring into Louisville during his tenure.
You see the fourth player in program history with 2,000 points. Boykin looking for Odom and finding her. Nice job, I thought, of staying vertical by Kylie Shook. Liana Odom looking for the layup. Crowd, of course, disagrees.
Duke crowd on their feet, not happy about that no call.
Certainly a lot of contact. Odom guarding Durr now. Under 10 to go on the shot clock. Evans leans into that floater. Dana Evans has the ability to get by a defender now with 8 points on the afternoon on 3 of 5 from the field.
When she comes off the bench, maybe one of the best 6 men in the ACC. She just adds a spark. She's just so smart, makes great decisions, can attack the basket, and an errant skip pass and another turnover by the Devils.
20 turnovers for Duke with a minute to go in the third quarter. Louisville has turned those 20 turnovers into 17 points. The margin right now is 16. Under a minute to play. Duke had a chance to cut it to 8. Instead, the turnover, the 3 from Asia Durr. The travel this time from Evans, but that 3 from Asia Durr made it 13. It's just felt like it's been the Cardinals owning the better of it here the last couple of minutes since that point.
They have, but you have to give credit to the Blue Devil defense. The matchup zone is really giving Louisville problems. I mean, they are just turning the ball over more often than they typically do, not making easy shots. They're just a little bit out of sync, and that's because the matchup's difficult to play against. And this young Duke team, very early in ACC play, is playing the defense really well.
Carter called for the foul out near midcourt. Gorecki will step to the free throw line, where she shoots 73%, or at least was shooting 73% coming into today.
Well, Louisville's had several games this year, most recently at UNC, where they were up 19, and UNC came charging back, so the Blue Devils are very much in this one. Need a good defensive possession right here.
Series between these two teams tied at 3. Blue Devils 3-1 in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Cardinals winning the last matchup last year in Louisville, 66-60. Blue Devils won the last time these teams played in Durham, 58-55 in 2017. Evans with 5 on the shot clock, looking for Shook. A nice dish there. Third assist for Evans. Finding Shook, who's up to 9 points. Odom the other way. That one is good with less than 5 seconds to play in the third. An important answer for the Blue Devils to carry a little bit of momentum into the fourth quarter. Liana Odom, 16 points now. 50-36 Cardinals after 3.
Finishing the second half with 2 beautiful passes. Here we go into the final quarter. 14-point Louisville advantage. Come on back and watch this finish.
Blue Devils with an 8-game winning streak here in Cameron Indoor Stadium against ranked teams. Last time they lost was against third-ranked Notre Dame a couple of years ago, but going to have to come back from a 14-point deficit here in the fourth quarter as we take a look at the top 25 around the country. A number of ACC teams in that top 25, 4 of them listed in the AP, but if you look at the coaches poll, there are actually half a dozen teams that are in the top 25 this year, so another strong season for the Atlantic Coast Conference in women's basketball.
ACC is just so full of talent, full of great coaches. 4 new coaches in the ACC this season. Tina Thompson at Virginia, Boston College is a new coach, Pitt, and Clemson with Amanda Butler. So a lot of exciting new looks.
You see the Fighting Irish, the Cardinals, the Wolfpack of NC State, and the Orange of Syracuse. Florida State and Virginia Tech both in the top 25 in the coaches poll. Miami receiving votes as well. Durr well short on that one. Don't know if Odom caught part of the arm, part of the ball. But either way, Haley Gorecki will be shooting two, it looked like, as Durr committed the foul.
And Durr off the fade screen. Good look. I think she thought she was fouled. The ball didn't reach the rim. Gorecki charging back down the other end. I like how Duke's attacked the basket in this game.
That's the 16th free throw that Duke has shot today, compared to just 9 for the Cardinals. I think some of that is what you were talking about. Louisville settling for jump shots at the start of the game. Duke has been a bit more aggressive in attacking the rim. Lead is down to 12. Carter, who's been relatively quiet after that ferocious start. 5 threes in the first quarter and a half.
And that's right now really the difference maker in this game.
Shook. Williams got a piece of that. Goodchild comes away with the steal. Gorecki the other way. Durr trying to bother her, but Haley Gorecki the finish. She's up to a dozen now. It's back down to a 10-point lead.
Jade Williams holding her own down low. Blue Devils defense picking it up, and another Louisville turnover.
It's another one for Williams. Odom the other way. Decided to pull it back. Gorecki for three. That one was deflected. Boykin chases down the rebound, though. Gorecki is fouled. Foul was committed on the floor, so the shot won't count.
Duke defense right now making it happen, creating offense with defense. Great lead pass by Goodchild to Gorecki. Finish on the layup. Here we go. Jade Williams knocking down the interior pass. Goodchild leading the break again. Ahead to Odom, creating this possession we're in right now.
It's the third foul on Shook. Fearing, Jones, and Shook all with 3.
And wise of Gorecki on that last possession on the perimeter with Shook guarding her to put it on the floor. And Duke giving it right back to Louisville.
Wing 3 for Carter, and that one falls.
That's just a great extra pass by Jasmine Jones. Feeding Erica Carter, and another 3 for the Cardinals.
That's been a bit of the story the last quarter or so when Duke's had a chance to get that lead 10-8 or 8-6. It's been a turnover and a 3 the other way. It was Durr the first time, Carter now. Odom with 2 defenders bearing down on her. Jones does well to reestablish position.
Another no call, and the fans not liking it. And here comes Durr, kicking it out, finding the wide open shooter.
How about that one falling for Dana Evans off the assist from Asia Durr. Quickly, Odom the other way is fouled. She'll shoot a couple of free throws. Another nice look from Asia Durr. 7 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, but now 3 fouls.
Nice ball movement by Louisville to create that wide open look, but immediately the Blue Devils inbound it, get it down the floor to a streaking Odom, who gets to the rim and draws the foul.
Regardless of the outcome here this afternoon, very positive signs for Liana Odom emerging from a bit of a slump that she had been in.
Most definitely. And I think the Blue Devil team as a whole, I mean, this is a very young team, as we said in the open, and every time they step on the floor, they get better. And this burst in the second half, this great defense they've played for most of the game, attacking the rim, some things that we see they're continuing to progress.
Just an incredible stat. Career starts coming into today. Duke's entire roster had recorded 147 career starts in total. Louisville had 398. Very much a youth versus experience situation here this afternoon.
Indeed. Right there we see the off-ball foul by Erica Carter. She doesn't understand why. Duke again with an opportunity to inbound. Game's getting more physical right now.
5 different Cardinals with 3 fouls now as Carter adds her name to that list. Good child looking for Williams. That one was poked away by Durr, though.
You know, and you wish Williams would have rolled a little bit harder on that play because the ball actually was the pass led her to the basket, and she just needed to roll harder.
Boykin commits her first foul as she stood in the way of Evans on her way to the basket. Feet inside that circle, and the referee says didn't have the position. Evans to the line where she's 1 of 2 on the afternoon.
Dana Evans, only a sophomore, but such a complete player on both sides of the ball. Really gives this team an extra kick.
Yeah, not technically a starter, but plays big minutes. 23 of them already here this afternoon.
And she was a member of the ACC All-Freshman team. 5th in Indiana high school scoring history, 2,832 career points. Here comes the pressure again, the denial. Dana Evans denying Boykin.
Under 7.5 to play. Largest lead of the game for the Cardinals at 18.
This is where the Blue Devils, if they're going to stay in this one, they're going to have to make a move. Gurecki looking for the isolation. Great defense by Erica Carter.
Williams tries to muscle it up through Furing. Instead, Furing comes down with the rebound.
And Furing with her size is just able to alter shots, make that a really difficult take for Williams. Right now, Louisville just needs to be patient. The clock is working in their favor. Nice interior pass. Furing getting great position down low.
Foul is called on Williams, her third, as you take a look at what the Cardinals face in their next 5 games at Notre Dame. Right at the top of that list. One of the best matchups in the ACC this season. The Cardinals winning the regular season and the tournament title a year ago, beating the Fighting Irish a couple of times last year.
Well, we'll get to see the 2 top players in the ACC, Enrique Wumawale for Notre Dame and Asia Durr go head-to-head. That's going to be quite a game.
Odom will take it out of bounds with the Blue Devils trailing by 18.
Nice press break by the Devils. Pressure continues by Dana Evans, and there's Asia Durr with the steal and the finish, and she continues to add to her career scoring total.
9 points now in the afternoon for Asia Durr. This Louisville team has won 9 games this year by 17 or more points. As the Blue Devils, 2 out of their next 3 on the road. Yellow Jackets and Seminoles.
Louisville's also had some close ones. They played a tight one at Carolina. They played a tight one with Central Michigan, Arizona State, a buzzer beater. And Coach Walls tells us it's really helped them learn how to execute under pressure and get defensive stops when they need them. Louisville now opening up a 20-point lead.
The Cardinals third in the ACC in scoring margin at plus 20 and change. Gurecki for 3. That one is good. Haley Gurecki, her second 3. Duke needs more of that here in the next couple of minutes.
Nice job for Gurecki to come over that baseline screen, get a little bit of room, and launch that shot and knock it down.
Gurecki, one of just 2 players in the ACC to have a game with 10-plus rebounds. Another game with 10-plus assists. She has the ability to do a bit of everything. Does commit the foul there, though, as Evans was taking the jump shot.
Nice screen on the zone. Dana Evans able to come around wide open. Louisville's been screening the top of the zone a lot right now. Gurecki gets hung on that screen. Dana Evans recognizing and pulling up for the short jumper, but getting fouled.
Gurecki committing the foul there. But just the 7th player at Duke, 500 points, 200 rebounds, 100 assists in her first 50 games. It's hard to believe she's only played 50 or so games with as long as she's been around on campus, but has missed so much time with multiple hip surgeries. That's just not an injury that's easy to come back from. I think she deserves a lot of credit just for fighting to get back to this point, quite frankly. It would have been very easy. Just sort of say, you know what, maybe it's not meant to be for me to play college basketball, but still out there competing, couple of years of eligibility left.
She's a fighter. It's tough to come back, do the rehab, come back, and have the mental toughness to get back out there and play. But she was playing so well at the start of last season. It was sad to see her go down, but she's worked hard to return, and I think still is getting back into the way she was before, continuing to grow as a player.
5.5 to play. Louisville 61, Duke 43. Bodie James hits the second free throw.
Nice job breaking the pressure. Louisville right now just needs to take their time, use this clock. Clock is their best friend. Utilize time on each possession, work the ball around. Bodie James with the block.
Denying Fearing. 11 on the shot clock. Bodie James trying to close out on Carter, but doesn't do so well enough. 7th three of the game for Erica Carter.
Wow. What
23 points. That's a new career high as well. Had 19 earlier this season against Western Kentucky, but 23 today. Adams can't hit the three on the other end. 7 of 10 from 3, 8 of 14 from the field overall for Erica Carter. Early and often from long distance for her today. Durr lines up a three. That one is good, and the Cardinals just pouring it on here in the fourth quarter.
Three ball has been the biggest difference maker in this game. Great distribution. Louisville's moved the ball so well around the arc. Able to find open shooters.
Louisville plus 27 in threes. They've hit 11. Duke has hit 2.
And 11 for 22. 50% from behind the line. Things are getting physical out there right now.
No doubt. 4:02 left on the clock.
Well, and it's tough enough to play the number 3 team in the country, but when they're shooting from 50% behind the three-point line, Erica Carter and company have gotten it done tonight for the Cardinals.
Louisville by 23 with 4:02 left in the fourth quarter as we take a look at some of the most proficient scorers in the ACC. 2 of them featured in today's game. Ajadur is one of them. Just 12 points for her this afternoon, but Debbie, you and I have talked quite a bit during the broadcast about the other things that she's doing today. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, a block, 2 steals. And because of that, Louisville likely to remain unbeaten and stay 14-0. Talked about the luck of the draw, or lack thereof, for the Blue Devils. 2 teams at the top of that list. That's who Duke started off its ACC slate with. Looks like those teams are going to be a combined 28-0.
Louisville, again, taking their time in the half court. The clock goes under 4 minutes.
Follow-away jumper for Fearing is no good. You know, this 13-0 start for the Cardinals, soon to be 14-0. Second straight year they've done that. A school record 20-0 to start last season.
10, 20-win seasons in 11 years for Coach Walls and the Louisville Cardinals.
They were ranked 5th in the country at the start of the year. Picked to finish 2nd in the ACC, just behind Notre Dame. Of course, we mentioned a moment ago how that matchup is just on the horizon. 3 first-place votes, actually, for Louisville as well. That game just a few days from now will potentially go a long way toward deciding the regular season champion and that top seed in the ACC tournament.
Well, Notre Dame winning the national championship last year, but Louisville had beaten them twice during the regular season. So that's always a great game. 2 best scorers in the ACC. It's going to be a fun one to watch on Thursday night.
I'll tell you what else is impressive about Coach Wallace and this Louisville team. This is going to be their 11th straight road win in conference play. You've been a coach, Debbie. I don't care who you are, what type of success you've had, what it says on paper. Winning conference games on the road with regularity is incredibly difficult.
He's just so steady. You watch him on the sideline. He's very calm. He's composed. He's got a very seasoned staff, a staff that Stephanie's been with him for 12 seasons since he's been at Louisville. His staff, as it is right now, has been together for 6 seasons, and staff continuity is so important.
Well, no question. He talked about, look, I give them the freedom to coach. They have the freedom to recruit. He thinks and sort of assumes they like that, and I think that's a safe assumption to make. Play in front of great crowds at Louisville. They just got the program rolling right now, coming off a season last year. They set a record for wins with 36, most regular season wins with 29. And Coach Walls has been at the helm for the top 7 seasons in terms of win totals in school history. 20-plus wins in 8 straight years. Program's 3rd Final Four last season to go along with one in 2009 and again in 2013.
I mean, in his first and only head coaching job, he has turned Louisville into a contender for the national championship every year.
Just over 2 to play. The jump ball is called.
Using the shot clock, getting it down to 8. Durr putting the ball on the floor. So you see how strong she is through 2 defenders, able to draw the foul.
Durr misses the free throw. That's a rarity. So for the second straight game, Asia Durr has not necessarily found the scoring touch that she is accustomed to. Now just 2 of 16 from the three-point line against North Carolina and Duke. But again, not to belabor the point, finding ways to allow her team to be successful.
She's just the type of player that does what her team needs. You know, when the game is on the line, she always steps up and makes the big shot. But I felt in this game, she played great defense, several assists, but just let the game come to her. Wasn't always open. Other teammates were open. When you have to worry about Asia Durr and you have to worry about post players, other folks in the perimeter are going to be open, and they've taken full advantage of that. Erica Carter knocking down 7 threes.
No question about it. Sagan Robbins checks in. Sophia Roma for the Blue Devils.
Duke looking for that long pass that they've done to several opponents this year, but Louisville guarding it well.
I mentioned some of the top scorers in the ACC coming out of the break, and certainly Asia Durr, one of those. Haley Gorecki is as well, and yes, she has 15 points today, but I think Louisville's done a nice job of forcing her into the inefficiency that, of course, you'd want to see if you're Coach Walls, just 3 of 11 from the field. It's one thing, some of the best players, they're going to get their points. You just want them to have to take a lot of shots to do it, and that's what the Cardinals have forced Haley Gorecki into today, just 3 of 11 from the field.
Well, and for all intents and purposes, as we see Boynton go strong to the rim and finish with the foul. Duke's held Louisville under their average. Right now they're at 70. They average 85. So defensively, they've done their job. It's just Coach P said to us they need more than 2 scorers. And today, Gorecki with 15. Odom, a great game, 16 points, 7 rebounds, but not getting a whole lot of scoring. Boykin with 7, Williams with 7. They need to get scoring from some other players on the team.
We talked about that magic number 70. How about that? Coach P mentioned that exact number. Sports information folks provided us information on the Louisville side about what happens when they get to 70. Sure enough, 70-48 the score, and the Cardinals look like they're going to win their 42nd straight when they reach that number of points.
But a lot of great things to take from this game for Duke. Some great effort, some good execution, solid defense, continuing to progress against a very, very talented Louisville team.
Blue Devils actually out rebounding the Cardinals by half a dozen. More points in the paint. We talked about this Louisville bench and what they produce. 25 to 3 in bench points for the Cardinals. Dana Evans having a lot to do with that today with her 16. Again, Coach Walls doesn't necessarily go really deep into that bench, but the players that come off the pine provide an awful lot for this team. And that three from Lindsay Duvall, 11 for 27 from three-point range, make it 12 for 28 after hitting that one. Jessica Limlee is on the floor for Louisville.
On 20-plus bench points has been a consistent figure for Louisville this season. And that's just their depth and experience. They have so many weapons.
28.5 bench points per game. And they are at 28 here today. For the Blue Devils, feels like turnovers are going to be a bit of the story. 24-13. Louisville able to force Duke into some pressure situations.
24 turnovers makes it hard to beat any team, but let alone the number 3 team in the country. To beat a team like Louisville, you have to shoot the ball well, you have to take care of the ball, and you have to rebound. And as you said, Duke rebounded well tonight. They played good defense, but the turnovers killed them.
Well, it's the second game in a row that Duke is going to hover right around the 30% mark from the field. Just got to figure out how to generate maybe some easier shots, some open looks. It's hard when you lose as much as Duke lost. Lexi Brown, Rebecca Greenwell, those two carried so much of the load for the Blue Devils the last couple of years. You mentioned it now, Haley Gorecki drawing different types of defenders than she had in the past, and others as well.
Well, and Mila Gutschar, the freshman, she's done really well, and she shot the ball very well for Duke early in her career, but tonight only 2 points against a very stingy Louisville defense. And as we say that, Goodchild off the dribble, taking the ball to the glass.
That's going to do it. 73-51 the final here from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Erica Carter, 23 points, 7 of 10 from 3. Dana Evans off the bench with 16. Asia Durr, the All-American, with 13. 16 for Liana Odom to go along with